So welcome. And so today, so we're going to start maybe in 2 minutes. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about the soul instead, because what happened is, so everybody mute yourself. Yeah. Um, but because what happened is last time I thought I'm going to talk about the dreams, but then I realized, to really understand the dream, we need to understand the soul. So we will progress gradually towards the later research. So today we're going to talk about the quantum theory of the soul. So this paper we posted on the network of one of the distributors of the scientific work. And so already yesterday I checked more than 2,700 people already read this paper, and more than 16 reviews on this paper. And so getting a lot of attention. So I'm very excited to share this work with you. And also just some rules. Don't have to, some rules, you definitely welcome to ask questions during, you can raise your hand or write a question on the board, at the chat, or just unmute yourself, ask a question. So we are open to questions, and feel free to ask any question. No question is not, there's all questions good, as long as you sincerely want to know. So don't judge yourself. You feel like, oh, maybe other people already know about this, it's just me don't know. So any question is good. Yeah. And I also welcome you to show yourself. But if you're not in a place to do that, that is also perfectly okay. So today we're going to talk about quantum theory of the soul. So what is the status? So the soul, the first, scientist maybe have proposed to use a scientific method to study the soul is Descartes. Descartes, last time we also mentioned, he realized the consciousness is maybe the he's most sure about, whether existence of something else he's not very sure, but he's sure the consciousness, is definitely exist. And he's also one of the first people suggested to use the science to study the soul. But he also proposed that to study the soul, maybe one needs to separate. I'll get also trying to mute myself. Well, sorry. Yes. So okay. Oh, sorry. So I will also share some of my my flyers. The thing. Yeah, so it's very exciting today. We're going to talk about the quantum theory of the soul. This is so exciting. And okay. So I'm going to share my screen. Yeah. So the first people who is Descartes, but he actually at that time he separates the soul from the matter. He think there's two existence. One is the soul consciousness, and one is matter. And so the he did not find a way how to connect this two. He made this duality. And so for a long time, for the science is not able, the classical physics is not possible to study the soul. And so, so I want to first give a current status about, the research about the soul. So it's basically at this moment, at the currently generally accepted, there's no scientific evidence to support the existence of the soul. And as quantum physicists actually have great respect and have listened to a lot of his researches, Sean Carroll, has argued that the idea of soul is incompatible with quantum field theory. And some physicists trying to use the quantum effect, trying to explain the existence of the soul. But then they later realized maybe that effect is not enough. And also, generally, there's people think there's no repeatable experiment to prove the existence of the soul. So this is what currently the belief is. So today I'm going to share with you that by using a new interpretation of quantum physics, we can scientifically define what is a soul. And we can scientifically study the soul. And also, we can come up with the experiment. And also, actually, I will show you there's already experiments exist showing, proving, definitely soul is already been proven. At least I'm going to claim, I'm going to prove it, going to convince you through this talk. Soul is already been proven. Existence of soul is already been proven by hundreds of years, more than 100 years of experiments. And not only that, the ability of the soul has been also be proven. So, and the quantum physics is the physics of the soul. It can define, study, and predict the nature of the soul. So this is what today's seminar I'm going to present to you. So this work is, has been posted on the internet. Well, I'm trying to get, the reason I posted it, not publishing it, because I want to find out what people don't understand. And so I can write better. So, so this work is done with Dr. and Master Zhigang Sha, and it's a very great honor to work with him on this work. So, so like we said, the classical physics, usually describe, something moving in a space and time. Every moment there's a definite trajectory, and you can use the equation to describe this trajectory. And so everything, you can predict the future, and if you know what's the status at this moment. But then quantum physics, so the classical physics it's not possible to explain the existence of the soul in the classical physics. So quantum physics, basically kind of like challenged the classical physics in the most fundamental level. First, quantum physics said, to say everything, every moment have a specific location and also velocity and momentum, and it's impossible to do that. And actually, you can only describe the probability of something exists somewhere at a certain time. You cannot say accurately anything exists at a certain place. And only when you make a measurement, you can know specifically at that moment the status of something. And even you make a measurement, you can only measure one specific or some specific qualities. Certain qualities, you cannot measure them simultaneously. For example, so everything has this particle and a wave behavior, right? And they find everything has a, frequency and a vibration. But it also has the quality of energy, particle nature. And these two qualities, you cannot measure them at the same time. They either, when you can design the experiment to measure this quality or that quality, but you cannot observe these two qualities at the same time. So all of this quantum phenomena is very confusing. When the quantum physicists first get to know about quantum physics, it is really, have a hard time to understand it. So to explain to you why quantum physics actually is this physics that studies the soul. So I'm going to today going through about how to understand quantum physics, how the different interpretation of the quantum physics, has some of the most popular ones, and so that you get the idea, right, to about the quantum world and how people understand it. And then we will present our interpretation of quantum physics and show you why quantum physics is actually the physics that studies the soul, right? And and also thank Nikki. Nikki is the one actually really asked me to to give more detailed description about, share more about how to understand the different interpretation of the quantum physics. Yes. So, so I think it's very important actually really going through this, because this new interpretation of quantum physics basically make it understanding of the soul is possible. Yeah. So today I will going through how the different interpretation of a quantum physics, and so that so that you can know this well. So feel free to ask any question. You can also just unmute yourself, ask question. Yeah. So so I want everybody, if possible, you can follow and you can understand, and feel free to ask the question. So okay. So now I'm going to see. Okay. So what is interpretation of quantum physics is about? Is basically the quantum physics is some mathematic theory, right? That can really study macroscopically, or study what is in a atomic level and actually at all levels, what everything is made of, and at the deep level, and also how to make predictions about the quality of the materials. And basically everything we now utilizing, including the Wi-Fi's, equipment, electric equipment, all of this has used quantum physics. So it is like one of the most accurate law, physics or any natural science that have ever existed, as far as we know in the human history. But this mathematical theory is, we don't know how to understand it. Yeah, so this is interpretation of quantum physics is trying to understand, the mathematic formulation of quantum physics. What is the meaning? How it is related to our experienced reality, right? And so some people also call it metaphysical understanding, metaphysical meaning of the quantum physics. So usually the different interpretation of quantum physics is trying to decide, whether the, what is the reality, right? Is this reality, quantum physics is deterministic, or it is probabilistic, or stochastic, right? So the nature, or the reality is deterministic, or the physics law should be deterministic, or it should be probabilistic or stochastic. And also, is reality local or non-local, right? This is about the quantum entanglement. So I probably will spend even just one seminar just on the quantum entanglement, because that is something extremely important for understanding many things. And then also, which elements of the quantum physics can be considered real, right? Is something, everything is a wave is real, or everything is a particle is real, right? Which reality is real, right? And also, what is the nature of the measurement? why what we observe is determined by the measurement. What is a quantum measurement, right? So this is what the different the interpretation of quantum physics is trying to understand. And so the most popular, also in the textbook interpretation of quantum physics, is a Copenhagen interpretation. So it's this Copenhagen interpretation is not really something concrete, and it's basically a collection of some founders of the quantum physics, some of their opinions. Yeah. So from 2025, to maybe 2027 or maybe a little longer. Yeah. So this, but these are some founding fathers of the quantum physics, some of their opinions. So it's definitely, right now, this is still the most acknowledged and most popular interpretation of quantum physics. So I will go through some of what is this interpretation is about. So I don't know. Yeah, yes. Last time we talked about the quantum physics is yeah. So basically, quantum phenomena is before it's measured, we don't know what it is about. So how to interpret that? Yeah. So according to Copenhagen interpretation, it basically says everything is intrinsically. Now, quantum physics is intrinsically indeterministic. It's impossible to 100% to determine something, right? And also correspondence principle, it basically said in the appropriate limitation, the quantum theory should resemble the classical physics. Yeah, so it can reproduce classical physics and reproduce a classical interpretation. And also it's interpreted, the wave function describes the probability of a measurement, probability for something to exist at a certain state. So this quantum theory is it can only describe the probability, cannot describe certainly what it will happen. And also they have this complementary principle. It says that the particle nature and also the wave nature, both this nature, they exist simultaneously. And then in certain cases, you set up your experiment in a certain way, then you observe this quality. And if you, you observe in another way and you observe the particle quality. Yeah, kind of like, a piece of corn, a coin, right? They have both sides. And then sometimes you observe one side, right? And they coexist. Yeah, front and the back side. And sometimes you measured, you throw the dice, you throw your corn. Sometimes you see the front side. Sometimes you see the back side. So this is kind of like complementary theory. And I think the founding father of so one of the important founding fathers is Niels Bohr, and he's the one. I think he got inspiration from law of yin yang. He studied the Asian, philosophies. So he's inspired, and he come up with this principle, and so this complementary principle, is I think he adopted basically law of yin yang. There's both sides, and they exist coexist, simultaneously. You cannot really see which one, so particle and also wave, these two qualities, they exist simultaneously. Yeah. And also for the Niels Bohr, he thinks the measuring, the observing is this irreversible process that's that is actually contribute to the object that leads to measurement. And so he think the quantum description is objective, but he cannot explain why. At that time, they have this so and then the mathematical And then so Schrödinger is the one that come with Schrödinger equation to the wave function, which is the equation that describe the waves. And later the David Born, I think Max Born, Max Born find out the Schrödinger equation should be explained as a probability of something to exist in certain state. And so Born won Nobel Prize in 1954. And so he said, I believe that the ideas such as absolute certitude, absolute exactness, final truth, etc., are figments of the imagination, which should not be admissible in any field of science. On the other hand, any assertion of probability is either right or wrong from the standpoint of the theory on which it is based. So this is his speech when he's received the Nobel Prize. So the loosening of thinking, so adapting this probabilistic thinking seems to me to be the greatest blessing which modern science has given to us. For the belief in a single truth and in being the possessor of this single truth is the root cause of all evil in the world. So he gave this strong, he's the one really come with the insight that the quantum physics is describing the probability something exists in certain state. But then Einstein, when he told Einstein about this, his idea, what Einstein wrote to him is that he said, of course, quantum physics is certainly imposing, but an inner voice tells me that it's not yet the real thing. The theory says a lot, but does not really bring us any closer to the secret of the old one. So here he said the old one means God, right? And yeah, you can see, Einstein, he's doing science to bring him closer to God. Yeah. So I, at any rate, convinced that which means God, is not playing at the dice. So this is what Einstein think. Yeah. And to respond to this, Niels Bohr said, the Niels Bohr's response to Einstein is that, of course, we cannot tell God what to, to believe. And so actually, even though Einstein had a completely different idea from Max Born, he actually proposed several times for Max Born to win Nobel Prize. But all these people have won Nobel Prize sooner. It's just a matter of time. And then one of the major thing about how to understand the quantum measurement. Yeah. So Heisenberg is the one really had some he think have contributed to the measurement theory, and so he think so I want to share some of this insight because you can understand when the quantum physics was first discovered. So this founding father, they really trying to understand what it is. I want you to really going through what they have experienced. He said, we can no longer speak of the behavior of the particle independently of the process of observation. So the observation and the behavior of the particle, you cannot speak them independently. As the final consequence, the natural laws formulated mathematically in quantum physics no longer deal with the elementary particles themselves, but with our knowledge of them. So the Copenhagen, school, the interpretation really believe the quantum physics is dealing with our knowledge of nature, but we're not really dealing with the nature itself. Yeah. So nor it is any longer possible to ask whether or not these particles exist in space and time objectively. When we speak of the picture of nature in the exact sense of our age, we do not mean a picture of nature so much as a picture of our relationship with nature. Science no longer confronts nature as objective observer, but sees itself as an actor in this interplay between man and nature. The scientific method of analyzing, explaining, and classifying has become conscious of its limitation, which arises of the fact that by intervention, science alters and refashions the object of investigation. In other words, the method and object can no longer be separated. And yeah, so what we observe, the object we observe, and the method we observe it can no longer be separated. Yeah. So Copenhagen interpretation offers some deep insight about what the quantum nature is. But on the other hand, it did not really explain why how this probabilistic nature, how to understand that, right? Why it's probabilistic, and why what happens at a measurement that determines the phenomena, how that happens. So this is is still not be answered. So that is why. So now there's many new interpretations coming up every year, and none of them is that it has disappeared. There's more and more interpretation coming up. So I want to share some of the other ones, some other interpretations. So anybody have any questions, so feel free to ask. Feel free to. So von Neumann, he actually published this very important book called The Mathematical Foundation of Quantum Physics. And so this is a very important book, and actually we're still using a lot of this, his discoveries. So in this book, he actually mathematically used mathematics to describe the measurement process. So by doing this, he he came up with a conclusion that the whole entire physical universe is made subject to Schrödinger equation. So we can call it universal wave function. And then the measurements collapse the wave function. And but also some people think the Copenhagen they come up with the collapse. Actually, those founding fathers, they never said that. And I think the von Neumann is the one he came up with that. And also his von Neumann, and also later Eugene Wigner also further developed this this interpretation. And he thinks the human consciousness is the one actually critical for the collapse. But later he also abandoned this interpretation. So it's because we don't understand at that time, or even now, most people don't understand the consciousness. So that is also very bold. So he also later abandoned that as well. And so I'll go further. So I want to go through all of this, some of the interpretations, because each interpretation actually, they have some insight, which I think contributes to the final understanding. And, for example, von Neumann, he did the book, it definitely contributes greatly for us to go further with quantum physics and about understanding the measurement, in developing mathematics for the measurements. And right now, the quantum information theory is still using that mathematics. So next one is meaning word interpretation. So this has gaining a lot of public attention. I think there's a movie called Everywhere, what's called Everywhere, every time or something. It's this Hollywood.
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
It's really actually is actually showing about this interpretation. I think probably got the inspiration from this interpretation. So this one, in this interpretation, it's basically said that, say same thing about there exists a universal vibration wave function, that it is deterministic. It's not reversible. And so it determines all the possibilities, and each of those possibilities are real, right? And then there's no collapse of the wave function. Yeah, so I guess serious scientists don't like the collapse because it sounds very, subjective. So, scientists, I think all the physicists are trying very hard, trying letting go of the subjectiveness, because that is, it really violates the science, right? Science should not be subjective. And also the phenomena associated, he thinks the quantum measurement is about, how quantum measurement happens. It can be described by decoherence. So what is decoherence? Decoherence is basically saying that, so the quantum physics, let me see, there's some mathematical formulas. Yes. Yes. So over here, though, so quantum physics is using the wave function, right? So have it add up different states, and each state have certain probabilities. And so these probabilities and the quantum physics can exactly predict it, how it's involved with time. So this equation literally tells how, this probability will involve with this time. And all this, and so each of the state, they actually is coherent with each other, right? Have specific phase between each other. And the quantum physics can predict that. But then if a quantum object, right, interact with the environment, right, through this interaction, some of the phase will change. So that is called decoherence, right? So and then this quantum phase, the quantum, some people call it quantum coherence, will be lost when it start to interact with the environment. So, so in the many word interpretation, he think this decoherence can explain the quantum measurement. And of course, a lot of people don't agree with him, but he think at least potentially it's possible use the decoherence to explain why the quantum why the quantum measurement happens. And he think the the wave function describes the observer increasingly entangled with part of the wave function of their experiments. And so this so the observation is really interacting, the observer interacting and becoming entangled with what is being observed. So observation, the quantum measurement is the observer become more entangled with the measurement, with what being observed. And that is how the measurement coming out. And yeah, so but on the hand, all possibility exists, for physically there. But then observer, it depends on which one you are become quantum entangled with, what you become coherent with, and then that is depends on which one you'll be observed. Yeah. So this is this has some insight. A lot of people like this. Actually, I wrote a paper about how this can be applied to the to study the universe. And yeah. So this work is, I think it's get a lot of popular attention and also get some support from some physicists. Yeah. And another, any questions? Yeah, feel free to ask any question. Yeah. or you want to get to know more details, feel free to ask. And if I'm not paying attention, you can just raise your hand. Yeah. Also, yeah, so Nikki said everything everywhere all the time. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah. So de Broglie and Bohm's theory, and so in this theory, it is basically shows that the particle also, which always has a position, are guided by the wave function. The wave function involves, so I would, involves according to the Schrödinger wave equation, and the wave function never collapse. That's what they think. So, but then this theory think this space and time, right? There's a space time. It is deterministic, but it's not local. So this theory is trying to give a description why there is a quantum entanglement. Yeah, quantum entanglement, which is, so far there's no good understanding why the quantum entanglement is possible. Mathematically, it's very, occurred in the quantum physics very naturally and very easily, but how to understand it? Yeah, so some people think we should give up the concept of space-time. Space-time does not exist, right? And some people think maybe physics theory should not be local, can be non-local, can exist everywhere, yeah, simultaneously. And so this is de Broglie and the Bohm's theory is a non-local theory, but it's trying to keep the theory is deterministic. And so why it is deterministic, I think there is something hidden, there's some hidden variable theory, something hidden or called the implicate order. And that is determine what is the wave function we observe. So this theory, I have actually spent some serious time to read their original paper on this one, on this theory a while ago. And but it's just some concept, about the hidden variable, but they do not have a real, at least, to me, they don't have a real theory about what is hidden variable should be and how it's give rise to, the observed wave function. So, but it does definitely have some, it is a good idea. Yeah. So, and also quantum information theory. Yeah. So quantum information theory. So John Wheeler is also a physicist I have influenced me a lot. So he's proposed it from bit. He think what we observe in nature, what the quantum phenomena is coming from the information bit. It's an information. But he also, it's just the idea, right? Idea he come up, but I don't see he has any real theory or real mathematics he has ever created. Actually, but this inspiration has inspired many physicists. Actually, there is several big global collaborative research right now happening. And actually in Stanford, in some big, in Princeton, and also in some big places. And they really trying to carry on this research. So it's a very exciting work. So Dow Science, we have published several papers in this regards. And in the future, definitely want to share some of our research on this. And also, but a lot of, so some of them, the main ideas is that they think quantum physics describe the observer's knowledge of the world, but it's not the world itself. So the collapse of the wave function is interpreted as observer is, the measurement is processed, the observer acquiring, receiving or observing, acquiring the information from. So it is not objective events. Yeah, so this is some insight. So this is also, I think, this is something similar to what we're doing in the quantum physics, but they did not really push forward, yeah, no, actually, this is a quantum information theory. So they have been, this is right now very exciting research field right now. And yes, so they actually have a very similar concept as quantum physics, as our Dow science, what I'm going to propose today. But nobody has, have applied this quantum information theory to study the soul, so this is the work we're doing. And also, I don't want to spend too much time because there's a lot of work to do. Okay, so I'm going to go very fast, yeah? So if you have some questions, just feel really just to ask. Okay. And so, and then next is some relational quantum mechanics. So this one says that, they observed. So quantum state does not describe the observed system itself, but it describes the relationship or correlation between the system and observer. So the measurement is a physical interaction and the establishment of the correlation between the observer and what is being observed. Yeah, so I think this is also good insight. This is actually, what we think is correct, what kind of similar to what we're believing. And also another one is a quantum Bayesianism. I cannot really spell this very well, I'm sorry. And so what is Bayesianism? Bayesianism is really is a school of thoughts trying to understand what is a probability. So this interpretation, they think the probability is a reasonable expectation representing a state of knowledge or quantification of a personal belief. So quantum state is not objective, but it describes the belief of the observer. So, I think there's some truth to that as well. So we will also share that with you. So I want to just share, some of this current belief. And then another interpretation called transactional interpretation. So this is inspired by Wheeler-Feynman absorber theory. So this interpretation, they think the collapse of the wave function results from a time symmetric transaction between a probability wave from the source. So, so wave function coming from a source, and also, so what happened is, in the Copenhagen interpretation, Niels Bohr think, so observer, it should be also quantum phenomena. And the measurement is also quantum phenomena. And then the Heisenberg think, the observer and the detector is classical, and then they make a measurement, right? So there's, even within the Copenhagen interpretation, they have, they themselves have the dispute, right? So how to understand, where the measurement comes, which one is classical, which one is, is quantum, right? And so in this transactional interpretation, I think both are quantum field, right? And the receiver, the observer has its own quantum field, and then the what is being observed has its own quantum field, and these two interact, and they coming out the measurement results. Yeah, so I think this has some very good good insights. Yeah, and so okay, so this is something. So okay, so these are some of the current observations, the quantum the quantum measurement, the interpretations. Any questions about this so far? So next I will present our interpretation, right? Any questions at this moment? All right. Okay, so next we will show about our insights about this interpretation. Yeah. Yes. So there's a lot more, like I said, there's like every year there's some new interpretations come up, and many interpretations. So our interpretation of the quantum physics, right, is based on two principles. So first principle, we think everything is a vibrational field, which is described by a wave function, right? And this wave function describes three aspects of everything. One is matter. Matter is something can be observed. For example, frequency, right? I can observe the frequency, right? I can observe the wavelengths. Another aspect is the energy. Energy literally, shows in the, so energy shows actually everything, quantum physics literally shows everything has a frequency, has a energy actually related to the frequency. And this energy actually behaves like a quanta, like a particle. You can absorb the energy like a particle. And then it carries the information. So we think the information is something, is a fundamental quality and aspect of everything. Yeah. So this is our interpretation of the quantum. It is one of the first principle of the quantum, our interpretation. And then the measurement process is the object, the observer, right? Observer. So everything is quantum. It is described by the quantum vibrational field, and it is received. And then for somebody to observe, right, and make a measurement or make observation, is to absorb the quantum vibration from what is being observed through the resonance. And then the observer will receive the quantum field, will receive this quantum field and process the quantum field, including the information, energy, and the matter that are carried in the field, and then have the conscious, and then what is, then, after you absorb, it will process it, and then, after you process it, it will go through some change, right? The conscious experience is basically aware of this change. And also quantum measurement is measure this change, right? So this is what our explanation or interpretation of quantum physics. So any question about this? So feel free to ask. Okay.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
So, sorry. Yeah, so this is
Dr. Rulin, there's a question.
Illustrates what happens. So the wave function is
Dr.
made
Rulin?
of, many, this quantum field, and then probability to be at this quantum field. And so this means summation of different vibrations that is in your quantum field. And so the matter is actually what is being observed and experienced by observer, and the energy is, appear in this equation, and the information appears here. So information is actually can be mathematically described, and information is something it can be also be measured. Yeah. So our interpretation is that the soul, so information has three aspects: the content of information, receiver of the information, and the processor of information. So the soul, we define the soul as the content of the information in our quantum field. So this, we give the soul definition to the soul. So the soul is basically the quantum information carried in one's quantum vibrational field.
That's wrong.
Yeah, I may not be able to hear you because I kind of trying to zoom out. So if I don't hear, maybe I'll turn on my volume because there's some the beeps. So I kind of turn off. So yeah, if I don't hear you, I apologize. So yeah, feel free to go ahead.
Dr. Rulin, it was
Yes.
somebody. There was somebody who wanted to ask you a question
Yes,
earlier.
go ahead. Yes, go ahead. Ask the question. Yes.
Richard. Yes.
Yes, well, she is actually in the process of answering the question, I think. So you can carry on. Dr. Rulin.
Okay. Yeah, so feel free to, I apologize. Because there's noises, I can turn off my light. Okay, so yeah. So the definition of the soul is basically the information in a quantum field. Yeah, so that is our definition. And one of the thing people arguing about the soul, but they do not really give a definition to what is a soul. So we give definition. The soul is a quantum information carried in one's quantum vibrational field. And it can be mathematically described by the wave function, right? So I will show here, show the formula.
Dr. Rulin, we're not seeing your slides right now. You're not
Oh, yeah,
sharing
yeah. So I'm going to share that now. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. So if somebody asks a question, just unmute yourself, ask. Yeah, just go ahead. So so the quantum, so the soul is basically the whole wave function. Yeah, wave function describe what kind of energy state is, and also probability to be at a different energetic state, right? And so this probability is determines, is basically the elements that describe the soul, and also the different states, right? This describes your soul. So this set is basically describes the soul. So this is why I'm saying, and the whole quantum physics is about this, is to calculate the wave function. Yeah, so calculate this function. If so quantum physics, find ways to quantum. If I have something, I can calculate your wave function. Yeah, so the whole quantum physics is about calculating the wave function. So we claim the whole wave function is describing the soul. Yeah. So Nikki, go ahead.
Hi, Rulin. So do you basically think of the soul as subjective perspective?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, so it can be mathematically described. Yeah. In fact, the whole quantum physics is describing the soul.
Yeah, very cool to add the math to that.
Yeah.
Dr. Rulin, could you clarify if you're done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Could you clarify a little more deeply what you mean exactly by the word information?
Yes. So information is basically the probability, to describe. So information is basically, it describes what kind of possible state, right, you can be in, and also probability to be at those states.
So if the information is the states that what a system could be in and the probability of being in any one of those states, I think is what you said.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm okay. So I have to think more about what you mean when you say that the soul is the content of the information. Then maybe you could talk about that a little bit more.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, the soul basically is your information. So everything has information, right? So you have energy, right? But they have different possible states, right? Like you can be, for example, if I would talk about the simplest one is like hydrogen atom, right? This is basically one of the first wave function the quantum physics can calculate, right? The hydrogen atom. And hydrogen atom, it's discovered that, inside the hydrogen, there's nucleus, right? And then there's the electron, and electron and is circulating around this nucleus, right? And then it is find that if you calculate, you find that the electron can be in definite some states, which is, 1 to, it cannot be in an arbitrary states in the whole space. It actually have certain definite energetic states.
Yep.
And so this is a possible states the electron can be at. There's many states, it can be all the way to n equal to infinity, right? And equals to infinity. And so the electron can be, so this possible states and also the probability for this hydrogen at each one of the, the electron, of the hydrogen to be at this state describe the soul of this hydrogen atom.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
so you can maybe label, so okay, if electron in the first state is grounded, right? The second one is excited, and the third one is inspired, and then we go to very big, it can be free state, right? And so, so each of the state can carry some information you can think about, and then the probability to be at these different states, it describes the status of the soul of the electron, of the hydrogen atom.
okay.
Yeah, and the same thing with us, you have many possibilities, right? And how much possibility you have, and also what is the possibility you are at, what is the probability you have those states describes yourself.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and so I'll share more of the. Yeah, so yeah, good question. Yeah, so you ask a question, if something you don't have some issue, and help others also to understand. So the quantum computer is actually, right now the most active, one of the most active research field is basically trying to manipulate the soul and to use it to do calculations and for other technologies. So this is one of the most exciting research right now going on in the science. So how to measure the soul? So if you can measure the A and also phi, right, and you're measuring the soul. And you can also calculate how big your soul is, right? And so how to calculate how big your soul is well, you can use this formula called von Neumann entropy. And so this is, I give out this equation, so you can calculate your soul. So if you can only stay in one state, right? And so you have 100% stay in that state, then your soul is 0. But if you have more possibilities and you have more possibilities staying, all those possibilities, right? And then your soul is increase with how many possibility you can be at. And also, if you, equally want to stay all those possible states, then you actually maximize your, how big your soul is. And also the more possibility your soul can be at, the bigger your soul is. So this mathematical formula can tell you. And also if, if somebody you attach to one state, right, you really just want to stay in this one state and you don't want to get other state, and then you actually make your soul smaller.
So if I may ask again, in what smaller or larger, in what context, in what space?
Yeah, so this is according to this formula.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Yeah. So I give a formula so that you can calculate how big your soul is, right? And just according to this formula, basically, if you have more possibilities, then your soul gets bigger. And also, if you can stay, all those possibilities, has an equal probability, then your soul is maximized. It's become bigger. But if you're really attached to one state, you just want to stay there, you don't want to stay anywhere else. And your soul actually, according to this formula, your soul becomes smaller.
Got it.
Yeah. And so the quantum measurement is basically the observed object, has some quantum field carrying the soul, information, energy, and matter. The observer's soul gives the information, right, about what information, vibration, including energy and matter, to receive. And then the detector and the observer receive the vibration, information, energy, and matter. So that is what we call the heart process. Spiritual heart in this theory is defined as receiver. And then detector and observer process the received information. And then after it's received, it's going through some change, right? And then if this is energy, we call energy process. And then if the detector and observer can become aware of its change, then that is what happened. That is what the measurement is. And this is also what conscious experience is. Yeah. So this is in this theory, in our interpretation, how the quantum measurement happens. And also the predictions about, so now we can define the soul using quantum physics, right? And then we can make predictions. We can use quantum physics to make predictions about the soul. So the first prediction we can make is that the soul is the essence. Because the information carried in your, to the soul determines your energy and, and also what kind of experience you're going to have, the information that you give. For example, I will just show you here. For example, the information, the A determines, so I want to make sure. Yeah, so the A, so A is determining what's the probability you be at this state or this state and this state. If my A is 1, A1 is 1, so that means, I'm staying at this state. And from wave function, I can calculate what's the energy of this state. So, and if, so this information determines what kind of energy state you are in and what kind of energy is inside you, inside you. So, and of course, you can be, several numbers, right? Several numbers, and then you can just, if you know the A, you can calculate the total energy you can have. And also the possibility you can, you will be in, so if you are maybe has a, higher possibility, bigger number of A at other higher energetic state, right? Then, you have higher energy and also, then I can tell your behavior, right? You could give out energy, right? By jumping down to the lower energy and what kind of, energy you can give out, right? And but if you just if the only But you have A equals 1, then you cannot give out the energy at all. You only can only stay here unless you can absorb energy, and so that you can jump up to higher energy. So by knowing my soul, this A's, I know your behavior. I can know your energy, right? So the information, the quantum information, the soul determines your energy and determines your state. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, feel free to unmute yourself to ask. So we will maybe share more, have more So the whole quantum physics is to calculate that, yeah. And so of course, I was just said, if you have more, I just add this actually today. So through the quantum measurement, quantum measurement is basically you are connecting with others, right? Receiving information from, you give information and also receive information from others. And by interacting with others, connecting with others, it's possible, right? You can bring more possibility to you and enhance your soul. But it's not necessarily happen for everyone. If a lot of people, they're very strong-minded, right? And you can only stay in this state, even you're interacting with other people, you're not really receiving, you're actually, determining, insisting on certain state. So that does not necessarily enhance your soul. So the third one is, so the physical body, so our physical body could stop functioning and dies, right? And but the information in our field could still exist after our physical body stop functioning. Okay, so and the soul can still exist and continue its journey after our physical transition. Yeah, so this is just natural prediction from the from the quantum physics. And the fourth one is the soul can be internal, and the physical body is limited, but the soul, defined as information in the quantum field, can extend over space and time. It does not have to be limited by space and time. Yeah, so that is another prediction. And another prediction is that one may connect with and communicate with and affect other soul remotely. Yeah, because this is because everything is a quantum vibrational field, and this vibrational field extends over space and time. And extends over space and time. And, there's this universal quantum vibrational field, right? And so you can receive, especially, somebody you're close to, their informations and even communicate with them on the soul level, on the quantum vibrational level, remotely. Yeah, some people may agree with this. You already had the experience. You already know this happens all the time, right? But some people maybe you don't agree with me, and it's interesting. I was last year I was in Oxford, and actually I was sitting next to this quantum physicist, and also actually sitting next to Roger Penrose, and as I was talking to this quantum physicist, I said, it's possible you can communicate with your wife, like remotely. And he insists it's not possible. He does not have that experience. That was so funny. But but for people have that experience, that this happens all the time, right? But any questions about this? And another thing is next one is so there exists universal quantum vibrational field carrying the information, energy, and matter of everything. This universal quantum vibrational field is like Akashic record, right? So this is Akashic record is being has been discovered by many traditions, Indian, Chinese, many traditions, Hawaiians, right? And so it is basically holding the information about everything and everyone, right? So because so everything has a vibrational field and it's all mingled up, right? Because it exists in all space and time. So they're mingled up, so there exists universal quantum vibrational field carrying the information, energy, and matter of everything. Yeah. So this is a natural prediction from this, prediction of Akashic record from quantum physics. So another prediction is that miraculous spiritual ability, such as intuition, direct knowing, telepathy, clairvoyance. So you can remotely see something, right? And also teleport. Teleport actually, teleport means that you are somewhere, you can teleport yourself somewhere else. So this kind of abilities is like in the Chinese history, it was like there's many stories about this. There's one, I remember I read one Buddhist master, and it's Buddhist master. He before he passed away, he gathered all the people come to gather together with him to witness his transition, and so people from everywhere, they walk to this place, and all of them said this master is with them. They walked together with them to this to meet with him, and everybody said that, right? And they were arguing with each other, the master is with us, the master with us. No, he literally appeared simultaneously towards all of them. But what's interesting is that the teleport right now, actually in physics, they will be able to accomplish this. And actually, at least one Nobel Prize is given to the physicist who was able to do this. And the university I went to in China, they are right now hold the record, are able to do the teleport the longest distance. So I think they can teleport information to the space shuttle. So this is right now one of the major research going on. So they can teleport maybe a few hundred atoms now, but how to at a bigger scale, it's still in the future breakthrough, right? To teleport the information of a whole of a whole being, right, or person. Of course, it's not right now. The technologies is not able to do that yet. Maybe a future.
Rulin, I have a question. What I did not understand is how it is then possible to calculate the soul with the formula, who is determining the ace, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah, very good question. You decided. Yeah, you decided. And it can be changing all the time too. You know, at this moment, right? And then maybe you're very happy, so your anger state is maybe 0, right? But at the moment, right? And then your anger state is higher, you know? So every moment is also changing too. Of course, you can average them out, right? And then calculate your average. So yeah. Mhm. Does that make sense? Yeah. Did that answer your question?
Partial, I think.
Yeah, and also measuring them, it's not easy because it's kind of constantly changed. And also well, for example, if I'm trying to measure you, right? And the measure itself will change you too, you know? And also it takes, because it's probability. So I have to measure, if I want to know what's the state of the electron at this state, this state, this state, and the probability at each state, I really need to make many measurements to decide that. And also each time I measure it, it's also I disturb the whole state, whole hydrogen atom. So, which basically means, to measure the soul is very difficult, if it's possible. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That answers my question. That's what I
Mhm.
also. I think that is also the thing that this one physicist says that, if we stay in our box, yeah, this is the part of the whole problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Rulin,
And
I'm still chewing on from a couple of slides back where you said that quantum measurement interacting with others enhances the soul, something like that. I'm not sure I agree completely that interacting with others expands the soul, but I'm not sure where quantum measurement figures in that. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So quantum measurement. So when so quantum measurement is basically you're connecting with another soul, right? Another quantum field, right? Object which has its own quantum.
Okay, such that
field.
could be another person too.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
a rather broad understanding of quantum measurement, I guess.
Right.
Okay.
And then when you measure, you're basically connecting with their soul, right? With their vibrational field and receiving their vibration.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it's not a measurement in the sense of measuring this two-slit experiment or some such thing. It's a different kind of measurement, I think you mean there, right?
Yeah. So I make it a very broad measurement, right?
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
kind of extends the quantum measurement to the most broadest way.
In a sense, a qualitative measurement instead of a quantitative one, sort of.
It's both.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
both.
Thanks.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why you asked that question. Maybe you want to extend yourself?
Well, I think you answered the question. It was really understanding what you meant by quantum measurement in that bullet item.
Yeah.
I think of quantum measurement generally as, the classical, you have an apparatus and you measure something, passing through the apparatus, and that's a quantum measurement. You get the wave behavior, or you get the particle behavior, and so on and so on. But you mean something a little more, as you said, broader sense of what the word measurement means here, I think.
Yeah, exactly. The double slit or other physics measurements is part of this. Yeah. So, but much more general. Yeah.
Got
So
it.
for us, the whole life you experience is a measurement. Every
Got it.
moment you are measuring something, you see something, it's your measurement.
Okay. That helps. Thank you very much.
Yeah. The whole consciousness, we think it's a quantum measurement. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Our life is a quantum measurement. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I'll take it.
So you can change it too.
Yes.
Yeah, you can
Of
change
course.
your measurement. You can change your life. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Wonderful. So we will continue. Yeah, so teleport and psychokinesis is basically means that you can use your, by thinking or by thinking intention, you can change something. Yeah, so this we will, so it's basically by giving information, yeah, so you can change the movement of something. And so in the future, we'll talk more about that. Yeah, so this is, so the testing, does the current physics testing the existence of the soul and the soul abilities? So I claim, the current physics already, show the existence of the soul, based on our definition of the soul, right? And also notice our prediction from quantum physics about the soul is basically very much aligned with most of them, some of the spiritual wisdoms or what the masters or, has been telling us, right? So this is, we think it's, it is, and also, which is really cool, and this is by define the soul as a quantum information carried in a quantum field, we can predict the quality of the soul that is aligned with, with the spiritual wisdom. And the existence of soul is already. How about the ability of the soul, right? So I also want to review some of the current experiment about about the spiritual thing. So of course, the current the scientific community, they think, so all the experiment right now have done, it doesn't, is not good and does not really actually prove the soul exists, actually prove the soul does not exist. So I want just to, trying to discuss about this, right? And so some of the experiments we know is one, is Dean Radden's. He did some double slit experiment. And so his experiment, he's basically, saying, double slit, we have explained it. Yeah, I have some, maybe, here, double slit. Yeah, so double, and then, and there, so basically he tried to get a lot of people, right, and send intention to this experiment, showing, okay, I want this light, right, going through this slit rather than that slit. And he wanted to test whether this human intention can change this pattern, right? And then his results, he think he demonstrates this effect. The human intention can really change this pattern of double slit. And he was, I was at the conference, he presented his results. He was very excited. But later on, there are people show that his results is wrong. They show that his analyze is wrong, and by doing those effect is not real. It's a very small number, and then they show that effect is not real. So actually, I literally and I met him again at another conference, and I asked him himself, what does he think of that, and what he think of that, and he said, yeah, he agrees with their objection, and so yeah, so that is a result experiment. Is not it's so far the result is not convincing. And also there are a lot of people doing the remote viewing experiment, and also in fact U.S. government actually invest quite a bit of money set up research centers in Stanford, in Princeton, and other areas to study the remote viewing, right? And I think they have some purpose about that. And there are reports showing that maybe those, some people think it's very convincing, some people said it's not convincing, and or at least in the end, the project basically ended. Yeah, and I think some of the conclusions like maybe it's not useful. So I want to yeah. So what is how we can explain this kind of experiments, right? And is this the experiment is showing the soul? Some people think this, they want to do this kind of experiment to show the soul really exists, right? And spiritual ability really exists, but then the experiment at least kind of very contradictory, a very what do you say? It's really questionable, or there's a lot of argument about in this field. So according to our theory, Tao science, the miraculous ability, so with all these experiments, right? In all these people's experiments, they don't have a theory. So one of the objection about these people's experiments, the mainstream objection is you don't have a physics theory about why, the intention, how the intention can change, right? Change a double slit experiment. Why the people have the ability to do the remote viewing? You have no theory to explain and show how they can do that. So first, you have no theory, right? If you have no theory, you don't even know what you're testing, right? And also besides your testing results is also questionable. And there's at least in the end, there's no like one experiment like super convincing to anyone, right? So there's none of those experiments, or at least there's still a lot of arguments about that. And so according to, so in our theory, we do have, we can explain, this kind of a theoretical, does a spiritual ability really exists? And it can be explained by quantum physics with our definition of the soul. However, so in our theory, we says that in Tao science that, this, the information is in this universal vibrational field, right? But do you have the ability to receive, and especially receive certain information, for a certain purpose, right? That is another issue. It's theoretically possible, but that does not mean you can do that. It does not mean everybody can do that, right? And in fact, the theory predicts it's almost impossible for anyone to do that, because there's zillions, countless informations, right? How do you know this information? How can you make sure you receive this information for certain things? So actually the theory is also, our theory also predicts it's not possible actually to for people to, we can say everybody has this remote viewing abilities. Yeah. And but some people, it's possible for some people to have, but the theory does not say everybody should have. Actually the theory says it's very difficult, it's very difficult to really remotely viewing some specific things, right? So our theory, so this, and also we don't think, the double slit experiment, the people, your intention, right? And so a lot of people's intention, when they're doing the intention, they also have zillions of other ideas and information in their field, right? And they can also affect the double slit experiment. So So each person does not necessarily can, change the double slit experiment through their intention, their willpower. Not everyone can use their willpower to do things. Yeah, because depends on what kind of information in your field determines whether you have ability to use your attention to change some experiments. So we think, there's no results is actually can explain our theory, and yeah. So this is can be but to show as long as, according to our theory, as long as we can find one person can do the remote viewing, right? Or to do the spiritual communication, or to do teleport, and that means it's possible for humanity, right? Because theoretically it's possible, and if somebody can actually demonstrate this, and then that will really prove it's possible, right? So, but then, such cases exist, many cases exists, right? The intuition, definitely a lot of us have intuition. And telepathy, a lot of us can teleport, maybe not all of us can do it, but it's possible, right? And it's actually teleport is already proven by science. So, and also definitely, on the history, right? And has been a lot of cases like this. So we think, the test of our theory is, is very positive, right? And there's no violation. So the reason, some quantum physicists, they think the soul does not exist. So what, their argument, so at the beginning I mentioned the Shang Carroll, and so his assumption is that, so, for soul to exist, they should have some soul particles, right? To explain the existence of the soul. Since, there's no soul particle has been discovered, that is why soul does not exist. That is why quantum field theory, the existence of soul is not compatible with quantum field theory. So for that, I completely cannot, agree. So, so that's my standing of that. So Nikki, you have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I love what you said about remote viewing and the need for this model where we're all pulling from a universal vibrational field. And it starts to make sense. And I mean, kind of pulling in I know, I think you are planning to do a future session on criticality and phase transitions, as we were saying. But yeah, this idea where as we move closer, the brain activity moves closer to the critical point, we are pulling in more complex information. And so in these experiments, this Stargate project, which went on for decades, I think from 1970 to 1995 or something like that. And, ultimately they closed down the project and they said, oh, it's not predictable enough. I think the challenge is that when we open ourselves wider to information streaming in from this universal field, we not only pull in information that relates to whatever that question is that's being tested, but we also pull in a whole bunch of other information. And so, there can be some confusing elements for that person who is being tested in that moment, because, you got information about that piece, but then you also have like all this other stuff. So yeah, really cool.
Yeah. And I think part of this, I was reading listened to some some program about insights about there's one person involved with that remote viewing. He's very talented, and then he he died accidentally. Apparently, he can see some, like they will let him viewing something, information about Russia, he can give the information. But on the other hand, because he has that ability, he also can see the US government, what's happening with them as well.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
know?
was this Ingo Swan or Sean something, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so it's a double sword, right? You're trying to get
Mhm.
information, but you also get information about you.
Mhm.
So, so apparently that person died early. So,
Yeah.
so, in any case, so that's probably part reason, they stopped that experiment too.
Isn't there a great film, Man Who Stares at Goats? Isn't that this film?
Yeah, so good.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, cool. So I actually, about phase transition, I definitely believe actually the whole memory and the consciousness depends on that phase transition, and it happens because to be conscious, there's different information has coming together. Like your eyes, there's some neurons, they get your eyes, there's some information, right? And hearing some information, and then feeling some information, right? So different, and also different speech, some information. And so all those information has to coming together to have one, conscious experience, right? So how can they coming together? That's actually happens in the brain through the phase transition, through this quantum entanglement, so that all those information can be integrated together, and through this quantum entanglement, and then you have one, this one unique experience. Yeah, so I will talk about that later. So and I believe that is actually very critical for us for the understanding the memory, understanding the how the the human brain consciousness coming about. Yeah, so definitely. So next level. So this theory right now we're presenting is very general. Yeah, so it's really just a basic what's definition. Yeah, and the general mathematic formulation is possible, but we have not really done anything detailed. But it's just some general 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 prediction at this moment. Yeah.
Can I have a question, Rulin?
Yes, go ahead.
I just had the idea, so the particle actually can be in several states at the same time, yes?
Yeah.
So that would mean that this is not, I mean, I have this, I'm view to this, but I can be subdivided into multiverses. Is that right?
Yes. So actually, the more you have that, does not mean that the more you can have those different possibility existing in your consciousness, right, or in your field, then the bigger your soul is. And you want to, you like Master Sha said, you want to have big soul, right? That means you have more possibility, you have more freedom, you have more power, right, and more joy. You can do more things. Yeah. And yeah, so for us, we also actually the future work is how to characterize the soul, like the quality of the soul. So in quantum physics, actually quantum Tao science, we actually was able to define the soul, to use positive information, negative information to describe the quality of the soul. So today we might not have too much time. So the positive soul, so the soul basically is the quantum information. So, and the positive information is a positive soul, and then And then there's negative soul, which is negative information. So positive information is something you can make a connection. So if you make a measurement and you can connect with something, and then you enhance the positive soul. And then but if you cut off the connection and cause the separation, then that is called negative soul, negative information. So the entropy, that calculates the disorder and disconnection, which is basic negative information. So the quantum entanglement entropy and also relationship entropy, and this all calculate the positive information, which is how much positive soul you have. So this is this work we are so we basically said that the soul is a quantum information in the quantum field, and so the quantum information theory right now is a science to study the soul, and the quantum computer is to develop technology about the soul. So we are entering the era of the soul. So this is a result of our research. And some other conclusion is that we think, quantum physics can define and study the soul. Quantum physics can predict the quality, character, and ability of the soul in line with some of the spiritual wisdoms and knowledges. And we are entering a new era of the soul. Understanding, utilizing, and advancing the soul is currently some of the most important and exciting scientific research, and it's also the purpose of our life. So yeah, so that is conclusion of my talk. Can ask more questions if you like.
So, Dr. Rulin, it's Corina. I have a question. Maybe this one it's more appropriate for the quantum entanglement, but I'll go on.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Back, thank you. Going back to what you were explaining about Akashic record. So my understanding is that all the information that we have created, as we said, with our thoughts, feelings, words, actions, whatever, exists in our vibrational field, yes? And so it is in the universal quantum vibrational field, yes? So when the physical form, like the body, does not exist, the information will continue to exist in this universal quantum vibrational field, right? How it's not going to disappear. What is going to happen with it? How it's going to get connected to another physical form, to another individual vibrational field? I'm talking about like karma, it's
so exactly, it's determined by your information. So if your information is tends to connect with others, then it can making more connection and continue to live on. Like if your information is trying to isolate, and then it becomes smaller and smaller, it could be in the end, disappear. Yeah, so it depends on your information. So the quantum entanglement, I did not talk about it today, and which is extremely important for the quantum entanglement. Yeah, it's extremely important for, if you want, I can explain that to you. But anyway, other questions? Is that to answer your question, Corina?
I didn't get it properly this time. So yeah, no, maybe when you will talk about more about the quantum entanglement, it will clarify.
Oh no, but this is not about quantum entanglement. It's about your information itself, right? Yeah. So what happened is actually the Taoist. So there's a very profound message for the from the Taoist master is that the matter, the shape, the matter, the shape, right? Yeah. Like, for example, the the hydrogen atom, right? This a nucleus and the electron is rotating again around it. So this shape, because it's a definite shape, right? So this structure and this shape, so determines its wave function. It also determines the possible quantum state it can be at, right? And then by electron can jumping from one state to the next, and then it can radiate or absorb certain light, right? Certain vibrations. So the shape is important for the soul, because this shape actually become this detector, right? Become this receiver, because it has definite shape, but then it has become definite to be able to receive certain vibrations, right? It's so the shape is very important. So our physical body is very important. Our physical body is this shape that can, determines us what kind of things we can absorb. So the shape, that is important. So after we transition, so our vibrational field is going to be there, but then this shape is, maybe actually, the transition is more like the soul actually determined to leave this body. So actually, according to spiritual wisdom, is what is death? Death is not your heart stop functioning. It's when your soul decide to leave your body. It said, okay, this body, I'm going to leave. Go somewhere else. But where are you going is determined by your own soul. What is the information in your soul? That determines where your soul is going. So all your thinking when you're dead, right? When you're alive, what are the information inside there? So that is why actually, so do people doing spiritual practice is really trying to work on all those information to clear them up, right? To sort through the information. There's some things I want, some things I don't want, I just let it go. But you decided, only you can change it. Nobody can change your information for you. Ultimately, it's you decide. So why you be on a spiritual journey, right? Doing the meditations and doing Tao calligraphy, you're trying to change those, your information in your quantum field. So that, your field full of good information and help your soul to grow more, living, when you're alive and after you, you transition. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, so take advantage when you're still alive. We try to really develop our soul. And so when we transition, that is also, almost all the spiritual tradition is trying to teach you, right? And of course, different things, they have their different languages, their different beliefs, but scientifically, it's really just trying to change your quantum information. And you can decide that. And then if you decide take on the good things, then, after your transition, or even you are alive, right? You can go to higher consciousness, going to have more joy, going to more places. have more freedoms and more abilities. And so that is what spiritual practice is about and why it's so important. Yeah, thank you for the question. Any other question? Yeah, feel free to ask any question. Because this is a really new field. So your question helped me to understand. So don't be afraid, the question is too hard. Because we all trying to understand more about it. And when I'm practicing, when I was preparing for the talk, I realized, oh, I understand more. Okay, Nikki, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you might be planning to do another session on this, but it would be interesting to hear your thoughts on how your theory or interpretation interacts with general resonance theory, Dan Hunt and Jonathan Schooler, and interpersonal synchrony as the basis of telepathy and some of the other kind of paranormal stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I can explain now. Maybe in the future. But you see the quantum measurement when we connect, the quantum measurement is actually depends on the resonance, right? So in the interaction, all the interaction is based on the resonance. It's based on my body or this detector. I can receive some vibration through the resonance from someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this, like hydrogen atom, it can only absorb certain vibrations because its structure determined. It you can only receive it through the resonance.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah. So synchronization of oscillations. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this resonance theory is really included in our interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole measurement depends on a lot of them. It depends on the resonance.
Mm-hmm.
So could we say it depends on the ACE, how many ACE a system has? Yes, how many possible state of mind? That is also, the bigger the field, the bigger the vibrational field, the more connective it is. Yes, is that right?
Yeah. The ACE is actually it's not necessarily. It's over here. Does not really shows the positivity or negativity yet. This here I guess it is positive. Yeah, so the more ACE it is, shows how positive it is. Yeah, that's true. It's all the states, they're connected with each other. And then, but also you could connect with more people, and with more states. So the whole human interaction is trying to make more connections, with others. And then we're building the countries and the businesses is always about building the connections. And then this connection is not just, so here it's just your vibration, but then you also be able to build connections with many different people. That connection just become, huge, right? You can also build a connection with heaven and earth, with the source, so that connection you can build can be countless. So Master Sha often said it's like billions of, billions of things. And it's really possible because, it's because they grow exponentially. So this series really includes the resonance, and it's actually resonance is one of the main mechanism in quantum physics. In quantum physics we can calculate the resonance. So this is why I insist using quantum physics. I know that their resonance theory, they make it a general. They don't depend on any quantum physics, but I insist using quantum physics because quantum physics we can calculate and we can measure. And so this is, because as a theory, you need to measure, you need to be able to predict and you be able to calculate. Otherwise, at least from physicists' point of view, isn't, you don't have power, and the theory is not, so the theory, a good theory is be able to calculate and also make predictions and also include as many phenomena in one frame. And then that means you connect different phenomena, and also that means, you have more power, more positive information. Yeah.
Yeah, I love what you're saying about the connections as being, what this is all about. That would be tertiary consciousness in my model, but also this nested hierarchy of consciousness as well. So yeah, the connections on all of the different levels. So that's
Right.
really central to Schooler and Michael Levin's work as well. Multi-scale competency architecture. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that exactly. Yeah, maybe one of these days you can also share some of your thing. Yeah, exactly. Multi-scale also, yeah, that is also predicted in our other theories about scale invariance, and how the consciousness actually can determine what our observation is determines by our own action of interaction with the world, how we interact with the world, what we experience determined by our own actions, what's how we think, thinking is based on information you give, so the observation is determined both by what you're observing, but also determined by how you observe it, but the information you are giving yourself and giving to others, and when you're making that measurement, in your experience.
Yeah, sounds like scale invariance would be a really good topic to cover in a future session too. And maybe that can be bundled with criticality and phase transitions in the context of physics. Yeah.
Maybe we can do it together. Yeah, so you can present some part of it. I can present the mathematics part.
Love it. Awesome.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. Actually, that is one of the prediction from our quantum, what is called holographic quantum theory of consciousness. And yeah, so we showed how the everything, this is it's a universal vibrational field, but what you can do observe is determined by your own consciousness, this conscious experience, and our conscious experience, the basic elements is actually the yin yang, and so we can derive a mathematical formula, about the general form of our consciousness, and then we shows that all the observed natural laws is coming from that formula. That's pretty cool, and then we show that the scale invariance actually is one of the prediction of that formula.
That is very important now, I just had this glimpse that, that is also that maybe one day we can explain why S plus E plus M equals 1 has this powerful vibrational field and is doing certain things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why it is so, because if it is the grand unification formula, it has the highest potential of being connective in the entire universe, in the multiverses. So that makes also the sense why it is when we do this experimental work, yes, with our clients, with the people who are doing certain practice with the formula, and why they are so successful in certain things, yes. Now sorry for my English. but to, to how you can say that, yeah, to show it, like you could show, maybe one day you can make a photograph how big this this vibrational field is that creates the formula itself. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Something, yeah. Okay, I hope you got that.
Yeah. Yeah. This formula is, definitely bring the connection, So when you chant that, you give you give yourself this information to bring different things together. And and with the one is the source field. And that is why when you chant this, you literally give yourself some of the highest positive information. Yeah. So what we speak, what information we give to ourselves is very important. But on the other hand, to be able to be aware, go inside your body, use your body to measure, right? To feel the change inside you. And that just makes complete the conscious experience and the quantum measurement. And the quantum measurement is what manifests the observed experience or observed phenomena. So if you want to manifest something, you not only need to give yourself positive information, but you also need to go inside, also be aware, observe, and feel. If feel, it means that you be able to resonate. You'll be able to receive the quantum field. And aware means that you can receive and you can observe the transformation. So only when you become aware and observe the transformation, that manifestation can happen. So this is something very, so this is a future application about the theories about how to manifest things. Yeah. So a lot of people, manifest. If you just speak, but you don't go inside to receive, you cannot vibrate, you cannot resonate, you cannot receive the vibration, or and then be aware of the change that's inside you. You need to be aware. Then that transformation, that experience, that quantum phenomena can happen. Then manifestation can happen.
Yeah, that's also what I observed. If the receiver, the heart, is not really with it, then the effect of it is it is not as high as when the receiver and the client is really fully into that. Thank you. Yeah, but I wish that one day we can just, like the water photograph, yeah, from Emoto, that we can show how powerful, how big the vibrational field of the formula is that it is created. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, the key is to have people to go inside to experience, so this is something as a healer, guide you people to go inside to experience, to be able to feel, to be able to resonate and to receive and to be aware. And then they're starting to be able to feel this quantum effect on their soul, and then and start to manifest the things they want, just with a single thoughts and single information. So this is a potential that is available for all of us. But the people cannot manifest because they have a lot of negative information that is inside. That's why they manifest negative things. Yeah. So, okay. So I think we conclude now. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here, and really appreciate your being part of this this group and explore this. And so welcome you to give any feedback. Yeah. So there's no negative feedback here. Yes, we all just connecting. That when we connect, it's positive, right? If we don't connect, that's negative. So as long as you ask, there's no negativity. Yes. And so that's connect more with each other, and explore together this very exciting, exciting, literally we're entering a new era. Yeah. And the soul light era. Yeah. So this work is really showing we're entering the soul light era. You have heard Master Sha have seen about this. And now I show you in a scientific way why this is the case. And so it's an exciting time for all of us and going to a new era. And there's many new things is coming out. Yeah. So thank you so much. Love you. And I'm looking forward to see you in 2 weeks. Yeah. And I hope next time, I don't know what we can decide and talk about. Maybe I'll talk about the sleep, which is very, very cool. It's so exciting. Yeah. Cannot wait to talk about that. But maybe we'll talk about phase transition. We'll look into that more. But you can send us your suggestion, what you want to learn, what questions you have. Yeah. So thank you. Love you. Bye.
Thank you, Rulin. Take care.
Thank you, Dr. Rulin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.